Hiya, I'm Jasper, and welcome to your video review for Lockout. It's a movie starring Guy Pearce, Maggie Grace, Joe Gilgun, who you probably remember from The Last Witch Hunter, I know I do, as well as Peter Stormare, who you probably remember as the Russian astronaut, or cosmonaut, from Armageddon. I definitely remember him from that, as well as Vincent Reagan and Lenny Jones. So, Lockout starts with this, whatever bullshit it was, and then immediately goes to this just absolutely terrible, just god awful CGI bike chase scene. I felt like they were like, hey, here's this cool introduction of this character in a realistic, gritty world, and then we're gonna go to like Ultraviolet, the movie, looked way more realistic in its implementation of CGI and bike chase sequences. That's how bad this one was, because at least Ultraviolet, like, that was the overall ambiance and stylization of the whole movie. This one, it's just that one fucking scene. Why did they leave that in there? It does not hold up, and I know it did not hold up when this movie came. Like, that was an unnecessary scene that you definitely could have just cut out and had the movie just be like, oh, hey, there was a brief chase sequence and we caught him. Like, you did not need that, because that just totally brings you out of the action. And there are some other things, like, why are you shooting guns in space? Like, why do you have space Gatling guns on your prison? Because satellites are a thing, and, you know, bullets and other pieces of shrapnel, everything else. Like, do you realize how, like, have none of you ever watched the news and seen, like, oh, this satellite or that satellite or the International Space Station had to adjust course because there was like a penny-sized debris piece or meteorite coming through, like, and then you're just gonna be fucking shooting guns in space? Like, when this is set, we don't have force fields and shit, so the self-defense mechanisms there just don't make any sense. And then, like, one of the main characters gets hit with, like, on the leg, and they're just like, oh, let me gently, like, the bandage just moves around loosely, like, it's not even on there. Like, have you never heard of putting pressure on a wound? Like, come on, man. And also the character, if you're trying to take this seriously, is way too flippant about getting a 30-year sentence. And, like, but moving on from there, why was the Secret Service guy on the prisoner side anyway? If that's like unbreakable glass and she's just having an interview with him, you should be on her side, not on the prisoner side. He's not breaking through the glass. Come on, there's no reason for you to be over there other than to facilitate the prisoner to do something to you. Also, they made a big point about, like, oh, this ship is still under construction, so you have a radiation detector thing, and if it goes red, that's bad, don't do that. And they even made, like, a joke where they, like, oh, yeah, I know exactly where I'm going. And they go through, and then it closes, and there's, like, danger, radiation beyond this point, wear radiation suits. I feel like whatever was supposed to happen for the payoff for that was left on the editing room floor, because there was zero payoff for the radiation thing. They really should have just cut it. The only thing I can think of is that, yes, I did get a mild chuckle when he said that, and then that happened, and it was like, radiation, he's gonna get it. And then maybe they were like, well, audiences are confused about why the people are wearing that particular style of pendant through the whole time, so we need to keep the explanation that it's a radiation detector on there. Maybe, but you could also just attribute it to, like, the life signs detector anyway, or just geotrack, like, so many other things that you could have just let the audience assume that would have also been logical. So, as you can see, there are problems with some of the logic in this movie. But who the fuck cares? I love the Malcolm Reynolds level of levity and not caring throughout this movie that Guy Pearce had. Guy Pearce had the exact right tone for this movie and its ridiculous plotline. Yes, the plotline is ridiculous, and they nailed it precisely with how ridiculous it is. And the other actors did their parts beautifully, like, I believed them and doing their thing, but Guy Pearce carries this movie and really makes all of the other bullshit that doesn't make any sense at all work for this movie, because it's supposed to be a fun, popcorn flicky time that you're not supposed to think too hard about. Yes, I might have thought too hard about it, but even with all those ridiculous complaints that I have about the bullshit that occurred and why some of that shit doesn't make sense, even with all of that, I thoroughly enjoyed every minute, except for the bike scene, every minute of this movie. because it has such the best tone and the gritty atmosphere and the badassery, and just like Guy Pearce is phenomenal in this, and he kicks so much ass, and it's so great. I highly recommend this movie if you're looking for a popcorny flick good time. Like if you liked the Colin Farrell Total Recall style of just like, sure, let's just go with that. Let's just go with that action and that level of grit, if you will, and whatnot. Like this movie is so good, and I cannot stress to you enough how much of a good time it is. You will not regret it. So definitely check it out. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Bye.